Hey there, and welcome back to another solo episode of the Style POV, the podcast where we deep dive into all things style, fashion, and how we show up in the world. I'm your host, Gabriella Ruda, and today we're going to talk about something that goes beyond just getting dressed. It's about understanding the value levers of fashion and how they shape our personal style. We're going to explore how tapping into your personal style values can make getting dressed and shopping a lot more satisfying. And yes, way less stressful. We're also going to be talking about how trends, how they fit into all of this, and the ways we can all feel overwhelmed by them. But here's the thing. Personal style is a lot like art or cinema. It's an expression of who you are, how you feel, and the story you want to tell. So let's break down how to refine your own style narrative. So let's start off by diving into the concept of what is a value lever in fashion. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, that's okay. Value levers, in my definition, are essentially the different aspects of style that influence our choices when it comes to what we wear. They're like sliders on a control panel, where you adjust each lever depending on what feels most important to you in that individual style moment or in a more long-term fashion. The thing is, we have all these levers. They're just vary in intensity based on our personal preferences, lifestyles, and our own individual values. So when you think about your wardrobe, your shopping habits, and how you feel when you get dressed in the morning, you're likely being influenced by a lot of these levers without even realizing it. Let's break it down a little further. There are some key value levers that I think are common across the board, and that a lot of people will want to fine-tune. The first is comfort. This is a huge one for a lot of people. If you're someone who values comfort, you're going to prioritize maybe softer fabrics, looser fits, athletic cuts, or maybe even just clothes that adapt to your body easily. You probably aren't going to buy something that looks super stylish but feels restrictive because your comfort comes first, right? That makes sense. So another one would be ease of wear. This is about how practical your clothes are for your day-to-day life. Do you need clothes that you can just throw on or feel put together without too much effort or thought? Like, are you a new mom and you're chasing a toddler or managing a newborn? You might have more ease of wear prioritized in your style for that season. Or maybe you like to have a bit more fun and experiment with different pieces. So it's ease of wear versus a more high maintenance style. Those are things to consider. Sustainability can be another one. This has become a huge value lever for many people in recent years, thankfully. If sustainability is important to you, you might gravitate towards ethical brands or slow fashion, investing in pieces that are well made, are longer lasting, and have maybe a minimal environmental impact. Your choices may even reflect a desire to reduce waste or avoid fast fashion that feels too disposable. Another value lever could be social perception and or impression. For some people, how they're perceived by others can play a significant role in their style choices. Does the impression you leave matter to you? Are you dressing to express your personality or are you dressing to impress? It's a balance, and honestly, Rita's Style Keys is a great way to sort some of these values out. Some people value projecting a professional image, while others value individually and don't care as much how others view them. This is about personal preferences, your own style values, and how you move them on your control panel. Another one might be price point. This is interesting because it can tie into several of the other levers as well. For some, affordability might be a major factor in their purchasing decisions. They may be looking for the best value for the price, or perhaps they're trying to stay within a budget but still want to look stylish and put together. Now, there are many other levers you might consider besides social perception and impression, price point. We also have creativity and self-expression, functionality or practicality, timelessness, cultural or personal significance, modesty, trend sensitivity, like quality over quantity, minimalism, nostalgia, luxury. But here's the catch. These value levers are not isolated. They intersect with one another, whatever is on your style control panel. And often we try to juggle them all at once, especially when we get on a new style journey, right? And when we try to push every single value lever to its max, comfort, style, sustainability, social perception, price point, personal expression, we end up with a wardrobe that feels a little chaotic and we don't understand why nothing is working. I'm sure you've experienced this at some point. Buying something just because it was trendy or because it was on sale, but when you wear it, it just doesn't feel quite right. Maybe it was comfortable, but it wasn't your style. Or maybe it was beautiful, but it was totally impractical for your lifestyle. I've been guilty of that one many a time. So I hope this sounds familiar to you too. Now, this isn't to say that all these levers are bad. They're just influential in how you get dressed. The real trick is knowing which ones really matter to you. The challenge is balancing them so that your style feels intentional, authentic, and comfortable. When we focus on the levers that truly align with who we are and we start with those levers first, we create a wardrobe that is satisfying rather than overwhelming and that we have a personal connection to. Let's take a moment to think about that. What are your value levers when it comes to style? Do you lean towards comfort? Maybe you prioritize sustainability and eco-friendly fabrics. Maybe it's the way that your clothes make you feel. You have to have creativity in your expression. And here's the thing. These are just some of the most common value levers, but they're not the only ones. Everyone has different levers and they all intersect in a unique way. Your clothes are your canvas ultimately, and you need to figure out, what are your 2 to 3 main value levers that your clothes need to embody. You might have a deeper connection to heritage and tradition with pieces that hold sentimental value or reflect your culture. And for others, minimalism might be at the top of their list, investing in a fewer, higher quality pieces that last. There's also an element of social justice and activism because clothing is a language. It communicates your thoughts and your values. So if that's your cause, then maybe you're drawn to brands that prioritize inclusivity, fairness, and a more ethical approach to fashion. But if price point is something you consider, especially if you're building a wardrobe that doesn't break the bank but still feels intentional, you need to figure out which levers need to be bumped up and which ones can be put to the side or muted for now. The point is, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to personal style, and the levers that influence your decisions can vary greatly depending on what's important to you. That's the whole point of this episode. So I want you to consider this. Why do you wear what you wear? When you break it down and focus on the value levers that matter most to you, getting dressed stops being a task and becomes an expression of who you are. You see, the more we understand our own levers, the more we can hone in on the kind of wardrobe that speaks to us authentically. It becomes less about what others think and more about what we truly care about. It's like a compass that ensures what we're doing is personalized. Now that we've discussed how the value levers of fashion guide our style decisions, let's talk about trends, and more specifically, how we view them through our own personal lens. Trends are a constant in the fashion world. Every season, new colors, fabric cuts take center stage, and the Pantone color of the year is celebrated like a new chapter in the fashion story. But here's something to consider. Trends are not universal. They are subjective, and each of us views them differently depending on our own values, lifestyles, and even our moods. Trends, in essence, are a fleeting moment, a reaction to the current cultural landscape, but they don't have to define our style. Let's think about style like a spectrum, okay? On one end, you have the trendy side, where it's a new aesthetic every couple weeks, new colors, butter yellow is in, puff skirts are out. It's driven by this newness and excitement about what's in season. There are bold, dramatic statements that you see on the runway, there's splashy color combinations, and there's quote-unquote must-have pieces if you want to look stylish. Don't have barrel-leg jeans? Well, you're in trouble this season. There's something thrilling about it, right? The shock value, how our color or cut can immediately capture attention and stir up conversation. It's kind of like the pop art of fashion, bold and impactful and designed to grab you in the moment. On the other side of the spectrum, you have a more subtle, steady approach to style. So this is more of an authentic personal style building. One is not better than the other. They're just different approaches, and you have to figure out where you fall on this spectrum. So on this personal, authentic style side of the spectrum, imagine this as building a wardrobe that feels deeply aligned with who you are, rather than what's in the moment. The side with authentic personal style building based on long-term results is driven by consistency and sustainability. It's about knowing what works for you, what complements your unique features, and what will remain. Remain is the key word here. Relevant and flattering over time. Think of this as using something like seasonal color analysis as your guide, a kind of long-term value lever that provides stability and harmony in your wardrobe. When you invest in seasonal color analysis, you're not just following trends. You're discovering the colors that are intrinsically flattering to your features and your natural coloring. You're returning to your natural coloring, as Christine Skaman says. These colors create a visual harmony that brings out your natural radiance. Over time, this analysis gives you something that trends can't. It gives you a wardrobe that feels stable, grounded, and timeless. Instead of chasing after every new trend, you can build a collection of pieces that align with your personal palette. Pieces that have longevity for your style, knowing they will always make you feel your best. Does it mean it's completely static? No, because again, it's a spectrum. So maybe for one season you veer more towards trends and then you pull back and you go back to your soft summer palette, your muted, cool toned fabrics. You likely don't gravitate towards those neon yellows or electric blues, but maybe one season you try it out. So examining where you fall on the spectrum from trends to harmonious personal style can help you examine your creative constraints and where you would like your style to go. It's a value lever proposition. It's like having a color story that plays out in the background of your life. It's not jarring, seasonal color analysis. Instead, it supports that natural flow of your personal style because those colors bring more stability over time. You know that if you need a wardrobe refresh, the new pieces, the core palette, it will remain mostly unchanged. And this provides a sense of comfort and lasting satisfaction. But if your value lever is excitement and you want to have boldness, a trend can be exhilarating. It can feel playful. It can feel like joining in on a collective fashion movement. So understanding where you fall on the spectrum can help you tweak your value levers. And it can help you realize how much to invest in a trend or a personal style exploration. Fashion is art and art is ever evolving. So it makes sense that trends, like a great piece of artwork, can captivate us with their shock value or their novelty or their new narrative story. It's an ability to push boundaries. And sometimes it can lead to a revelation of new style data, which is wonderful. But here's the key. Both approaches are valid. It's about deciding which one aligns with you at any given moment. Do you love the thrill of newness and novelty, or do you find more satisfaction investing in colors and styles that make you feel static and grounded and confident and authentically yourself? The beautiful thing about fashion is that it gives us choices. If you love the immediacy and the instant gratification of a trend, wearing something that feels fresh and relevant for the moment, that's totally valid. But you also might find peace in the consistency and long-term results of building a wardrobe based on what works. Because every time you get up, you know, everything in my wardrobe will make me look amazing. I don't have to do more to be myself. I just have to put on that yellow dress and my features light up. My jawline is lifted. My lips look like natural makeup. But maybe one season I want that trend. Maybe I want to try that true red dress because it calls to me, or that butter yellow Pantone color is calling my name, so I'm going to explore it. So begin thinking about where your levers fall on the spectrum and what you're craving in your current style season. Are you craving interest in novelty, or are you craving longevity and identity? All right. So I'm continually talking about the value levers and the unique style, but here's where we kind of run into a problem. Our inclination is to push all those levers up to 100% when we start our style journey. And it usually leaves us pretty dissatisfied with our wardrobes because we can't find a single piece that is sustainable within our price point, within our color palette, within our body type. And it feels like you're running on a treadmill and you're never getting to the end of the race. But here's the thing. When we push up at the same time, each of these levers to their maximum, things just feel chaotic. Think about it. You could buy a jacket because it's trendy, but maybe it's not the right color for you, or it just doesn't fit well. Then you sacrifice this one for that. Then you might buy another pair of shoes because they're practical, but they clash with your color palette, and then they don't work with the jacket that you bought because you compromised on your color. And before you know it, you've accumulated things that don't align with each other, and they don't even speak to your true sense of style. You've boxed yourself in to such a degree that you can't break free. The exact opposite of feeling confident and authentic in your clothes, which is what we want. When we try to maximize every single style value, whether it's comfort, functionality, sustainability, trends, novelty, creative expression, price point, color palette, we end up spreading ourselves too thin. It's like trying to juggle 5 things at once and eventually something's going to drop. Here's a great example. You might prioritize comfort and want these soft, loose-fitting jeans. But then you see that like bold colors, that bold statement color everyone is wearing. Let's say it's like neon pink, and you think, I should totally wear that. It's trendy. It's going to make me look cool. It's going to make me look like that influencer I love. But what happens? You buy the neon top and maybe you wear it once because it's fun, but it doesn't really fit with the comfort jeans that you actually do love, because the neon top, it's not comfortable. It doesn't fit your personal color palette, and the piece ends up sitting in your closet, never getting worn again. And then there's also the aspect of sustainability. You could have been focusing on buying ethical fashion, which is amazing, but sometimes we get wrapped up in finding the perfect sustainable piece that we forget to think about what we already have and what our style goals really are. You need to understand your value levers. So what happens? We're left, if we don't, or if we try to tackle too many levers at once, we're left with a closet full of clothes that don't all connect or feel cohesive because they're missing the most important part, which is you, the you in personal style, your style POV. This is why focus is so important. If you try to wear every color in the rainbow, tackle every style aesthetic that exists, it ends up feeling untenable. You need to hone in on the values that truly matter to you, and from there, your style will become a reflection of your priorities and ultimately you. Think about it like this. You wouldn't try to focus on everything in your life at all at once, right? You wouldn't try to tackle getting a new job, wardrobe refresh, rebuilding a house, getting a new degree, getting a new job, having a child, getting married all in 1 year, right? Like you'd get burnt out. The same goes for your style. If you focus on 1 or 2 core levers, let's say it's comfort and sustainability, you can begin by building a wardrobe that feels intentional and meaningful. And that's where you get long-term satisfaction out of your style, when it feels all connected. When you focus on the things that really align with your values, your wardrobe starts to feel more authentic and honestly less forced. You're not chasing after the next trend or being influenced by a Facebook group that says you can't wear true red. Instead, you're building a foundation, a wardrobe that's rooted in what feels right for you. Take, for instance, a seasonal color analysis that we've discussed. By focusing on flattering color palettes, those colors that truly resonate with your natural features, you're not just following what's trendy. You have a compass, you have a guide. You're prioritizing harmony in your style. You're building a wardrobe that always works for you, that you won't turn over year after year when neutrals are out and neons are in. You know that these colors are going to make you feel good, and it's the kind of foundation that will last and make your daily dressing feel effortless and satisfying. Okay, let's take a step back for a moment. So why do we push our levers to 100%? Sometimes it's the pressure to keep up with trends or make us feel better, or if we don't grab something when it's in, we're missing out, or it will be aging us or making us unfashionable. But the truth is, pushing all those levers doesn't create satisfaction. It often creates anxiety, the stress of trying to juggle it all and just never quite getting it right. You need to take it one lever at a time. And it's allowing you to enjoy fashion as a tool for self-expression, confidence, and satisfaction. So let's take a minute and reflect. What are the values that matter to you most? Jot them down and look at your wardrobe. How much of your wardrobe is actually contributing to your top 2 or 3 levers? This is a great way to examine what's working and what's not. This self-reflection will help you so much when you're shopping, and you can say, no, this doesn't hit this lever to a degree that makes me satisfied with it taking up important space in your closet. So where do you feel most aligned in your style? Are you juggling too many levers at once, or are you starting to focus on what really matters to you? Take a second and examine that. Even go in your closet and look around. Okay, I want to move on to what I believe is the heart of building a wardrobe that truly satisfies. It's not about rigidly following one system or trend. It's about taking the structure that works for you and adapting it to your own personal values. That's the secret of long-term happiness when it comes to style. So let's take Kibbe's system, for example. Now, if you're familiar with this system, you know that it's about understanding your image identity and following your style lines and then taking that information and applying it in an authentic manner. So whether you're a soft dramatic or flamboyant natural or any other type, it's about personal expression. But here's the catch. Kibbe's system isn't about a one-size-fits-all approach like a lot of people think it is. In fact, I believe that his system should be used as a guideline and not a strict rule book. And I think he would agree. It's meant to help you find the shapes and silhouettes that complement your beautiful, unique body. But this is the key. It's not about disregarding your personal values in the process. Kibbe encourages you to embrace your unique essence and personalize the system to align with your own style and preferences. That's why he says the image examples that he gives in the book are not meant to be copy and paste for you. So if you're a soft dramatic in his system and you are supposed to wear bold, structured lines, but if you value modesty, you might feel at odds with this image identity. But that's not taking it to your value levers. Take your soft dramatic ID and adjust it for more coverage, like opting for higher necklines, longer sleeves, dresses that fall more gracefully. You're keeping the essence of what he's teaching you to do with style lines, but you're also respecting your need for modesty. This is how I believe Kibbe's system should be used, but it's not a rigid formula, but it's a starting point. It's an education. It's about customizing it to your unique sense of self and incorporating those values that make you you. So if modesty is your core value, you can still absolutely wear the soft dramatic styles, but maybe you're adjusting fit or coverage or length to reflect what you value in your style POV. Because when you personalize it, whether through Kibbe or seasonal color analysis or any other system, you're making your wardrobe reflect you. You're taking up that space. You're not just listening to the rules and conforming. We don't want to conform. We want to carve out our own space, whatever that space is. It's about feeling comfortable, authentic, and empowered in what you wear. Not just about following a template or, giving us a to wear and not to wear list. Let's talk about another example. Maybe if comfort is a priority for you, which it is for a lot of people, then perhaps you'll focus more on looser, relaxed silhouettes that still align. The goal isn't to sacrifice style. It's about choosing what resonates with your body and your lifestyle and your personal values while honoring what you want to communicate out into the world. When we combine these elements and you create your style toolbox, whether it's Kibbe or Kitchener, color analysis, Zyla, whatever it is, layering it with your own values is when we stop looking at style as something external to be followed and instead make it a true expression of ourselves. It's the beauty of personalization. When you hone in on your values, the choices you make are grounded in what makes you feel authentic. You're not just adding a random piece to your closet because they work with the system, or you're not being influenced because Cosmo says you have to wear barrel-like jeans this year. You're building a wardrobe that reflects who you are, what you value, and how you want to show up in the world. And that's where long-term satisfaction comes in. When you think about these values as maybe sustainability is important to you, but is only at 50%, that's okay. And maybe creative expression is a value at 100%. So if your outfit isn't 100% always creatively expressing you, it's failing you. Okay, let's step back and look at something even more powerful as a tool for self-expression and self-discovery. Fashion, like art or cinema, is a form of storytelling, which I absolutely love. If you know me at all, I love a good plot line. I love writing stories. I love cinema. I love art. It's about you, your identity, your essence, and the way you want to be seen. When I first began learning about my own essence blend and color palette, I truly began to see myself in new lights. For years, I had tried to fit myself into the wrong boxes, whether it was following trends or misdiagnosing my color season as a summer. I thought I had to fit into like a more polished or sophisticated role instead of going gamine, but it wasn't me. It felt like I was wearing a costume a lot of times. And honestly, it dampened my spirit a little bit. It felt like I was like throwing darts and they weren't even hitting the board. But once I embraced the ingenue, romantic, and gamine essences that Andrea gave me and paired that with my bright spring palette, something did really click for me. I could finally see the character I was meant to play. And it was one that felt authentic to me. It was my voice finally shedding all the extra layers I had put on it over decades. I was no longer trying to conform to someone else's idea of what I should look like. And instead, I could embrace like the more playful, bouncy, romantic side of me that I adore, that was like inspired by a Wes Anderson movie, or was a character that's charming and playful and bouncy. That this feeling of finding your true role, your true character, is exactly what fashion can do for you. It's finding that style that speaks to your soul and shedding those layers that no longer serve you. It's about embracing your essence potentially, finding style lines, adjusting your value levers, and choosing pieces that really like express who you are. So a costume designer crafts the wardrobe for a movie character. You're choosing your own wardrobe to help you tell your story. Like take the amazing Helen Rose, for example. You should absolutely look her up. She designed for Grace Kelly, crafting costumes that communicated her character's elegance, sophistication, and grace. We knew exactly who Grace Kelly was on the screen because her clothes didn't just look beautiful. They defined her character. They matched her essence. They brought her to life. Your wardrobe can do the same for you. And it's not just about clothing. It's about creating a visual story that expresses who you are at your core. So like imagine a wardrobe at a movie set. So let's take this one step further. Imagine your closet is a movie and you are the director. What's the plot line of your wardrobe? Who are the characters being cast? Are they playful, elegant, quirky, bold? Or do they have a crisis problem and we don't know who they are yet? And who are you in the movie? Are you like a leading character, the one who commands the spotlight? Or are you a supporting character who adds depth and like intrigue? You have the power to direct this film. Your wardrobe can tell it like a story. Just like a costume designer uses clothing to shape a character's identity, you use those tools that are available, like whether it's seasonal color, and you create a bouncy look for your character because they're a bright spring, or maybe they're a flamboyant natural and they have the nonchalant glamour going on. Whatever it is, these things should guide your final decisions and reflect your value levers. So we've talked a lot today, and it's time to kind of put it into practice. But before we go any further, I want to challenge you to do something, which is something I failed at doing many times. So learn from my mistakes. I want you to challenge your biases. And what I mean by that is whenever you think to yourself, I could never wear XYZ, or I'm just not that person, that's when you need to deeper and examine the root cause. I'll be totally honest with you. I never thought I could be a bright spring. I used to think that my color palette was entirely different. I had all this outdated information that didn't fit my true self. I was not only holding on to misconceptions, thinking I had to be something I wasn't, but I was also trying to force myself into a box that the collective had decided was right. But when I finally embraced my season and my true essences and all of those things, I realized I'd been limiting myself, and I didn't know what I didn't know. Once I opened myself up to that idea, I knew it was more of a full story. I was able to see myself in this new light, and that's the beauty of style. It's just an ongoing evolution. It becomes a shedding of who you are not and a growing of who you are. So you're simultaneously removing what no longer serves you and then building up the things that bring you life. Which I think is really important to kind of challenge that information when you say, I definitely can't do that. Why do you think that? Do you want to do it? And maybe you just have been told that it's not for you. You have the power to break free from those limitations and embrace something new. I think that you have to examine like what's holding you back. Is it outdated information? Is it societal expectations? Or maybe an old belief about your body, or, some kind of trauma around some of those things, your personality or your age. You can break free of them. And so here's a little exercise for you. Think of a piece or style you've ruled out in the past. Maybe it's a color, a silhouette, or even a trend you thought was not for you. Now take a moment to ask yourself why. Try to examine how it could work for you. What was the real reason you dismissed it? Was it based on a past experience, a belief that wasn't aligned with who you are today? Try challenging that assumption and comparing it to your values. And what if you tried it? What if it works for you now? This is an invitation to evolve. We often limit ourselves because of old beliefs about what's possible. When I finally allowed myself to embrace Bright Spring, I felt like I was unlocking like a whole new version of myself, of my style. And suddenly I could wear colors that I had written off before. I mean, a lot of people write off yellow, but you just got to find the right yellow. But anyway, I just want you to start examining your story, examining your value levers, and personalizing your style so that your style POV can be out there. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found this conversation helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you left a review, gave me 5 stars. It helps spread the word and brings more people into the style POV community. Until next time, keep owning your unique style and telling your story with confidence.